Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we still have a
As far as
few
I know.
minutes. Traffic's heavy,
Right.
but it never is too much of a problem.
So Jeff, you have a new computer?
Yeah, it's always fun setting it up. So we had one thing and then we lost our Outlook, so I'm trying to get my emails through my phone, and
Ah, okay.
tomorrow we're gonna have a deep dive and try to fix the remaining issues.
Got you. Modern technology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a nice pumpkin event, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, thanks for being there, Jeff. I appreciate it. I was talking with Mary. It said it was so strange that a week before the event started, I had 90 people registered and had only 20 show up. It's just
Yeah.
a sign of things going on. And I think some of the LITs I had working the event said that they knew there was a couple soccer games going on that day that probably weren't scheduled at the same time, you know, when I scheduled that and people signed up. So Mary, I'm going to admit Mia. She's
Oh, yes. Okay, I see up there.
better. And then I'll ask her to unmute.
Frank, did that woman get in touch with you? About the guitars?
Oh, not yet. No.
Hi, Mia.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good, hello.
Hi, Mia.
Hi.
Oh, there's Kim.
Okay. I'll get that. I'll admit her and have her unmute. Okay, where'd she go?
Oh, and Alexa too.
No, Alexa, I got her too. Okay.
And we're just looking for Joe.
Right, Joe would be the only one yet.
Okay.
Kim's a little reticent about joining us here.
Yeah, and I had her asked her to unmute, and so it just
Yeah.
may be.
Videos, there's a line through the video. So is she just?
Oh, she just didn't. There she
Oh,
is.
there we are.
There's top of her head at least.
And let me, and then Alexa.
I only work in IT. You think I'd figure out how to work
Hi,
it?
Alexa.
You know too
I'm
much.
just here as the co-host to the meeting because of the Zoom bomb that they had with the city commission meeting. It's just basically so Mary can focus on the meeting, and if something comes up, there's somebody else there that can either stop the meeting or, you know, close it down if we have to. So we kind of did, like Alexa knows too, we did it with the teen council meeting too, to have a co-host, so you always kind of know who's coming in and out of your meetings and things like that, so we won't have that issue. So
You're
why
the
I'm here.
you're the bouncer.
I'm the bouncer. I like it, Kim. I'm putting it on my resume. I like that. Yes.
If we get sassy, we're gonna get 86 out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
There's a 5-second delay. She can hit a little button.
So Tracy, you're deciding whose picture goes on the big screen?
No, it's just, it
talks.
goes to whoever talks, I think.
Oh,
You can
really?
choose gallery view if you want to see everybody at once and not be distracted by the faces
Yeah.
jumping in and out. I kind of find that distracting because it sort of tracks to whoever's talking, but doesn't necessarily. And if someone makes like a little ruffle, it'll jump to them. And yeah, if you see everyone, it seems less stressful.
Right.
Hey,
Okay.
you can admit Claire.
There she is. I couldn't get to her at first. Okay, there we
Well,
go.
how do we find, oh, I guess I go.
There
over-
I got her. Yeah. There's Miss
Your lighting's
Claire.
really good, Mary.
Pardon me?
Said your lighting is really good.
Well, tonight in the daytime, it's horrible. So I guess I'll have to just have night meetings.
Well, you have to just aim it away from the big picture windows if you want better daytime.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, this is on a desktop. Well, I could turn the whole,
Oh, you have to, or pull the blinds down. You got south facing windows too,
down.
don't you?
they are down.
Yeah, now I would say during the day you have to pull them down.
I do.
Okay. Well, we're gonna
Just
start.
bad
the
lighting.
meeting.
Yeah. Well, it looks
We're
like we
going
have a
to-
quorum.
Call to order the meeting.
Is
Okay,
Alexa
first-
still muted?
Who's muted?
Alexa?
Alexa, she can unmute if she, Alexa can unmute if she
Hello,
wants to.
everybody.
Oh,
Well,
there you
there's
go.
Alexa. Okay, and she's unmuted.
And then
Good.
Claire, and I think people can mute now if they want to, just whatever, but they are able to now talk if they want to. Oh,
Okay.
Joe's coming in. I'll admit him too.
Okay, great.
Oh, Joe,
Good work.
technicality, Joe got to the meeting on time. Okay.
Hey, Joe.
There we
Okay,
go.
so we have good attendance. Okay, who's taking notes? Kim?
No. Jessica,
Jessica, okay, right, Jessica, okay. All right, so we will call to order. And Jessica can see who's here.
Yep.
Well, I think we have everybody but Sheila.
yeah. Yep.
Okay, first thing, approval of the agenda for the meeting. Motion,
Move to approve.
second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Okay,
Aye.
approved. Approval of the minutes from September 29th.
I move to approve.
Second.
do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Correspondence. We have any
I
correspondence?
do not have any correspondence this month.
Okay,
Nothing about any of the skate park or anything, really, this time?
Nothing directed to me, nothing that anyone
Okay,
couldn't have read, but nothing was directed to me.
nothing since the most last communications that we've had.
okay, easy. Public participation. Wow, we are screaming through this. Okay, items of business. Advisory statement, advisory board statement of support. So let me give you the tiny background. This skate park story. People came to us last year and again this year. It's one family that lives on Kingston. And then they took it to Next Door, which has become one of our forums. And they took it to the city commission meeting. And I guess, and the family is very frustrated with the park, and they had a lot of complaints. And I guess what sort of got to me was a personal thing that they said the board ignored them, and we didn't. Because a bunch of us, especially Kim and I a lot, went over to the skate park and made a concerted effort to go lots of times and pass by and observe and talk to people and take notes, both last year and this year. And we're an advisory board, so we really can't do anything. But I think in regard to that, I'm going to turn over to Kim for a few minutes.
And I am going to read this because I feel very strongly about this and I wanted to make sure I got all my points clear. So I put a little statement together. I believe it is the job of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to do the best job we can to support the interests of the entire community. And the skate park is an important part of that goal. Recently, there's been a lot of interest, discussion, and yard signs on the topics of diversity and inclusion. The skate park is an organic way of putting those principles into practice. Over the past several weeks, I've been biking up to the park once or twice a day, almost every day, literally. My gym is in Berkeley, so I bike there. I leave early, I stop in. I don't just fly by it. I go in there, I spend time talking to people. Every single time I'm in there, I've met a wide range of people, all enjoying the park together. No one is thinking about differences or pointing out differences. They're just there together, brought together by a shared interest. I have some little notes about some amazing people that I met that I never would have met otherwise if I hadn't stopped into the park. I met a really nice gentleman who lives in Huntington Woods. He grew up in Canada, avid hockey player. He was there teaching his 7-year-old daughter how to play hockey. And at the same time, the skate park bowl was being used. They had no qualms at all about being in the park with different people from, different backgrounds. He's there a lot. He spends a lot of time with his daughter, and she's picking up hockey really well, I might add. Another day, I met 2 high school girls who were on roller skates. They had some music playing. It was at a decent level. I walked over to the house. I could not hear it from their house. Walked back. I was talking to the girls. They created a family-friendly playlist because they wanted to be careful and considerate of people that would come into the park. So they intentionally were being really smart about it. I also met a 23-year-old skateboarder who actually asked if I was Colette.
She's famous.
Yeah, and I said no, but I introduced myself, and I had just a terrific conversation. I ended up spending about 20 minutes talking to him. Super nice guy. He was really interested in making sure that the park is well supported and policed, and he said he'll talk to his friends. Everyone I talked about your part. This is your park. We want to take care of it. I'm here to help. I would go in there, walked around the whole park. I only picked up trash twice over the past month. And then they said that they inspired them to keep, better care as well. I also met an Orthodox family with a little girl on a Razor scooter, and the skateboarders are making sure they stayed out of her way. And when she'd come around, they'd move out of her way. That family said they have no concerns about being around different people. They weren't afraid of the park, as some people said on Nextdoor. So I never would have met these people or talked to them. And none of them had any concerns about the park. It was just, it made me happy every time I was there, just to meet these people, to see how much they care about it, to see them, sharing their passions in the skate park. As I said, everyone was willing to do their part to take care of the park. They pick up trash, they watch their language. There were no parking issues the entire time I was there, over the past month and previous months as well. The only thing I saw was there was a white pickup truck that was there every time, and that was from the collision shop across the street. So I did not see any parking issues at all. I'm not trying to dismiss their concerns. We'll continue to do our part as a board. I'll continue to stop in there, make sure that I talk to people, make sure that they're self-policing, pick up trash. If I do see significant issues, I did see one issue. One of the gates was locked one day and one was open. So, things like that. Anything that we can do to make the park a better place, I'm willing to do my part. And I think as a board, we're willing to do our part as well. But I think it's especially important at this time when we're dealing with the pandemic and a lot of stress about other topics, that we have a healthy range of options for all people, to get physical exercise, to connect with other people. And I think the skate park is one of the most utilized parks. It's a benefit to the community as a whole, not just our community, but the community as a whole. And we should continue to support it. And then the last thing I want to say is I am strongly against any opportunity to lock people out of the park, lock the outsiders out. There was conversation about that on Nextdoor. I think it's a really bad representation of Huntington Woods. We're trying to be more open. We've had a reputation in the past of being exclusionary. And if we're trying to fight that, the idea of locking people out of a park because we think the outsiders are causing the problem is a horrible representation of our city.
Right.
So I'm sorry for my long statement, but as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this topic. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I know, the idea that people that don't live in Huntington Woods go to the park, my kids who grew up in Huntington Woods went to all the parks in Huntington Woods, and they also went to the Berkeley Ice Arena and the Southfield Ice Arena and lots of parks in Berkeley and Oak Park and Southfield. And my grandkids, when they come in, do the same thing. So I think it's a community park. Again, not to diminish the people that are complaining, there are some minor issues there. And like I said, things happen. And I was there and there was a mom with 3 kids. The oldest was about 10. And she said, yeah, there's swearing there sometimes. And I said, and she said, and so what? She said, this is life. And turn on the TV set. And yeah, she was fine and said that, the kids, like Kim was saying, they always took turns. They helped the younger kids, and she came off and she liked it. Anyone else have any input?
Yeah, I can give my 2 cents. So Kim, I liked your statement. I think it, solidifies the business case that, that park is used and should be continued to be used, especially with the diverse crowd that uses it. So I think what you wrote captures the sentiment of the entire board. I think that was really, well stated. Another thought is just taking it from the family's perspective. They have raised concerns. It is something that, from maybe not so much a Parks and Recs perspective, but maybe a city perspective, that we maybe need to look at what type of responsibility the city may have to, protect somebody's investment if they are having these types of concerns. I'm not saying close the park, but, I did mention through email the option of maybe putting some type of soundproofing up, just to maybe muffle the noise, the puck noise, the swearing noise, the issue mentioned with the garbage. I live on off of Coolidge. That's just nature of the beast. But I think, taking it from the owner's perspective, when they bought the house, I don't think they considered, this type of issue, with their family. But under no circumstances would I say, let's close it up, because the case is there to keep it. So I just maybe wanted to throw it out there. What about soundproofing? Is that an option that we can look at to try to satisfy the family's needs, so they don't have to continue with these issues?
I can just, thinking of soundproofing, I don't know, perhaps, but if we couldn't put like arborvitae around there, because then you
No.
lose. So I don't know what could be used as a soundproofing against a puck hitting the boards that would be enough to do anything to
I-
really deflect
yeah.
that. But that's a good suggestion.
I mean, it's not a very, I mean, it's a wooden fence, right, that separates the park from the houses behind
It
it.
is. And the people.
They're not behind it though.
No,
They're
we're not.
across the street.
Yeah, the people that complain live
Oh,
behind the collision shop. Nobody, I don't think anyone directly behind the park has had any complaints. Only one
I
family
didn't realize that.
that's
Yeah.
had an issue at this point.
I misunderstood that as well. I thought they were immediately adjacent to the park based on the descriptions that they were making.
Yeah, me too.
No, they were behind the collision place.
It's kitty corner, because when I go by there, I saw Joe the one day when I was walking my dog. And I met your son, very nice boy.
Thank you.
There's my dog. I did stand by their house and I tried to listen for any noise, and I heard nothing. So I thought there was no one in the park. And I went over to the park afterwards, and there's a whole bunch of people on the skate bowl. So the skate bowl is not, you can't hear any noise from their house from there. I don't know how many, it didn't seem like they were complaining that much about the sound of pucks. But I mean, I'll keep going back there and walking, standing by their house and seeing how loud the puck noises are. But I mean, my son used to fire pucks at our garage door, so maybe I'm more sensitive to that noise. I don't know.
I'm just basing that off of the email that they wrote. I swear they cited that as an issue, the puck noise.
They did, but
They did,
I think
yeah.
we need to go through maybe their issues one by one and think about what things we can do to maybe find some compromise.
Truly.
I like your idea about, is there something we can do for soundproofing? But I think we have to articulate what the real issues are and the frequency of them, and then put together an action plan to say, here's the action, because the board is taking action. I mean, we've already taken
And I
action,
think,
but yeah.
is it possible that, that as you meet people that are utilizing it, to, encourage them to also be vocal and maybe to speak up for, the value that they find in the park, so that it's not
So
just.
willing. Yeah, they're so willing. They wanted my email address. They wanted to know if they should contact the board. And I said, let's hold off for just a minute and let's just figure out, what we're doing. Because I said most of the comments we're getting on Nextdoor are negative, but that's the nature of Nextdoor. The one guy that did post that he's up there regularly, I met him up there. He is up there every day. He's my age. He has kids my age, my kid's age too. He was up there with some kids and he skateboards. He's amazing. He said he's willing to speak up more too. And the father from Canada is willing to speak up. The kids wanted to speak up that were there. So I just told them to be aware and don't get, just remain calm. Do your part in keeping it clean right now. But if we do need to gather more support, there'd be a ton of people that'd be willing to do it for sure.
Right, that's good.
So the
And
And
question.
one thing I think I'm sorry.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
One thing I think that, and I was talking about this with Kim previously, that is at stake here too, is that part of this is the nature of living next to an attraction in a neighborhood. When we first moved to Huntington Woods a few years ago, we looked at several houses and we looked at something that was over near Nadine and Scotia, a beautiful part of the neighborhood, but very close to the school. And you have to be okay with the fact that a couple times a day, there's a whole bunch of cars in front of your house, And given that we are both from home, that was something that wasn't going to be making us very happy. So we elected to not choose that spot. And instead, we bought somewhere else a little farther away in the neighborhood, which we love. And so I sense a little bit of remorse on their decision making, and it's kind of manifesting itself a little bit through their campaign. And I also noticed that their language and description of things have shifted over time, and most recently, they've adopted language that connects it to the incidents of vandalism at Burton and to the outbreak at the Zoom. And while I don't doubt that young people are swearing and using foul language, and some of it might be wildly inappropriate, I don't know that those things can really be linked together or conflated meaningfully. I think that's opportunistic.
Yeah, it's kind of overreach, right?
Yeah.
It is, I think.
Okay, so to wrap this up, in Kim's letter, like 5-6 paragraph letter she sent out about a month ago, one paragraph just struck me as what I think is my opinion, and I want to know if we want to make this if Kim could read it, our statement of support. Which says, okay, she has my belief, but I would say it is our belief that the skate park is a benefit to our community. It's especially important right now to have healthy options for all people to be outdoors, get physical exercise, and connect with one another. It is one of our most utilized parks, and we should always be looking for ways to appeal to all members of our community. So I think that's a pretty good statement. And again, as the advisory board, I would like to.
I like that. I think it's nice because I think it conveys the idea, but it doesn't say that we're not interested in looking at options to improve a situation.
Right.
It's just that, it sort of seems by the language that I'm hearing back from them, at least observably at Nextdoor, they wouldn't really be happy with anything except closing the park, to be honest with you. And I think that this conveys the thing. It's like, well, that's not really on the table, but what, we're committed to working through this. So I agree.
Anyone else? Would we like to adopt this statement?
Yeah, I support it.
Yeah, I'm good with it too.
I can't say anything because it was my words.
I agree with it, Val.
I agree with me.
Kim's like, but wait, I changed my mind.
Okay, well, I don't know, do we need a motion or just everyone seems in agreement and
Yeah.
like to put that in the minutes?
Yes.
And
That's
you have it, Jessica?
Yep.
Okay,
Also,
Um,
just as a point of reference for you guys, the city is looking into putting surveillance cameras in the park. We're getting so it might be a deterrent or whatever. So that's one thing we are looking at. And we did have the parks crew, the graffiti that was in the park was basically just inside.
It was
the porta
inside.
john.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the families were telling me. They
Yeah.
think it's hilarious that they didn't do anything on the outside.
It was on the inside and there was really nothing offensive. It was just graffiti art. That's what it was. So we did purchase a graffiti remover and we were able to remove it. So anyway, so that has been removed and they did paint over the picnic table.
okay.
Did they happen to go into the skate bowl at all? Because there's the kids
They did.
asked. Okay,
Oh, excuse me, go on.
Because the kids asked me if they could just put some heavier coat of paint over there was a swastika there at one point in time. It's starting to bleed through a little.
Right, yeah, no, that was pointed out when we were there this past week. So yeah, they are going to put another coat over that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
so those
Mary-
are certainly simple things to do that can remediate anything. And then also just one more thing, we would not want to keep anyone out, nor can we keep anyone out. So that's not even on the table.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Good.
Hey, Mary, just one comment. You mentioned about the security cameras. Not a bad idea. I assume that, you know, it would either be monitored or just recorded in case an incident were to happen.
Right, yeah,
Or
correct.
if we're putting that investment into the skate park, what about fixing the cameras by the pool? Because remember during the summer, there was that issue with the young kids jumping over the fence, swimming.
Right,
That-
yeah,
If those cameras at the pool would have been active, you know, maybe you could have gotten a little bit more information. So
right. Well, that,
Yeah.
that system actually it is not even working, but we have talked to somebody about getting things up and running again. So we're looking at that as soon as we find some more money.
yeah, that's the big thing, right? Yeah.
2020.
Okay, good. Next item is the program rates for pool latchkey and everything else that Mary sent out. And I will let Mary present it.
Yeah, well, basically, it's this time of year when we have to look at rates because we're putting together the winter newsletter and all the camp information, all the programs. We put it in there. We add the cost for many of the programs. So we need to determine what the rates should be. I laid out this information for you, and in speaking with Tim, the city finance director, as you can see, 2% will just address minimum wage increases if we just agreed to go 2%. 3% will do minimum wage plus any operational expenses that, of course, there's going to be additional operational expenses, just the cost of water, chemicals, that type thing. And then 4% would take care of minimum wage and adding in the processing fee for credit card use. We have never done that. The city has always had to take that on and cover that cost. We've never recovered it from the user. So we should be recovering it from the user so it doesn't come out of the city budget. So adding that in as a 2%, which would be going to the credit card company basically. And if fees are increased 5%, we cover everything. We cover minimum wage, we cover operational, and we cover processing fees. So I laid out last year, of course, the pool, and much of this didn't even happen last year. I showed what our increases were last year and gave the cost of what each incrementally would be for this year, whatever you determine to be the best increase in cost. And then also regarding the, I mentioned also the daily rates for the pool. Well, last year I looked back, Jeff asked me to look at how many we sold and whatnot. Last year, we increased the daily visit by $1 for each of the categories for daily visit, which was a pretty big jump at one time. And Bridget's suggestion is, you know, when you add the coins into it, it makes everything really messy for the person working the pool desk, as well as they're always running out of quarters. And then, you know, somebody has to try to run to the bank if the bank's closed, and then they have to try to punt and do whatever they can. So anyway, her suggestion, if it wasn't necessary, to avoid the 25-cent increases or quarter increases, but that is up to you guys. That's just her suggestion.
Well, I do like rounding off. I know just doing our exact percentage, obviously we'll round these numbers off.
Mhm.
My question, why is Pineapple Camp more than the others? More than Honeydew and Watermelon?
Tracy?
You want me to answer that,
Yeah,
Mary? Yeah.
Tracy, would you please?
What we do with Camp Pineapple, because they are the older kids, we offer more involved like field trips and things like
Okay.
that. For instance, tiger games, just things that cost a little bit more. Just because they don't want these other little trips that we can do with the younger kids, they want a little
Okay.
bit more. So we just actually increase the cost of the camp to cover the cost of those more expensive field trips.
And Tracy, just to comment, my son, he finished out fruit camp. He loved those extra trips. That was a highlight of.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, Joe. That's
Mhm.
great.
I was talking to somebody who was interested in possibly joining the board, and she asked me a question that I had never thought about before, probably because I don't take advantage of Latchkey or the camp at this point. But do we have any sort of sliding fee scale or accommodation for residents who might not be able to afford the cost of any of those services?
We haven't to date. What we have done, we've been accommodating for people if they can't afford to pay like the monthly fee or whatever, we would certainly stretch the payments out over a longer period of time and allow them to pay it on time as they're able.
Okay.
So that's how we've worked with people in the past.
And youth assistance, just to step into, I'm sorry if I'm overstepping
No,
my bounds,
please.
but youth assistance has also offered camperships through them, and then they cover part of the fee of the camp. And then we pick up, I want to say it's like a 70-30 split. And so like the rec center will just take 30% of the payment, and then they will cover 70% of the payment for certain campers, but you have to apply through them. But we've done camperships with them before.
And what is youth assistance?
It's through the school system, and it's basically, I believe it's Berkeley, Oak Park, and Huntington Woods Youth Assistance, and it just assists families in our areas with things that they might need. And I know they do like Thanksgiving baskets, and they offer support with anything that these families might need.
Right.
So
We have one
yeah.
specific to the school district. There's a counselor assigned to the school district from the county. I think we have a question from Claire.
Yeah, I'll pull it up, Mary. Yeah. She just, do these prices include extra cleaning, assuming the summer programs can go, but require additional sanitation? Also, are these rates good? Should reduced numbers be required?
Yeah, they should be.
I'm
we
just
should-
asking because I think that my own gut feeling is that we're not going to be able to run things at capacity. And clearly extra cleaning is going to be required.
Mhm.
And there's a cost to that.
Right, now we do extra cleaning right now for our preschool program that we have going on. So that is all built into our current staff, and that would be good. And, we may find that we have to put a disclaimer, prices may change based on the situation, but we're going forward with this for right now.
I also just want to bring up, Claire also brought up a point when we were talking about the statement from the advisory board that just because she put it in the comments, so I want people to hear it, to send that to the city commission as a communication, so the committee is on record for, their stance with that. So she just said that would be a good idea.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Claire. Yes.
I just want to say it's an excellent statement. Your discussion was outstanding. And it's nice to have it in the minutes. It's better to send it as a communication to the commission so that they know you've discussed it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so on these, obviously, we're going to round the numbers, I'd say to the nearest $5 on the big things. And on some of them, I don't know if you want to, something, certainly we don't want something to be $9.45, but to raise rates from $9 to 10 is a big jump. But
And you
certainly
don't-
$9.50 works as a price point.
As far as, for the daily rates, those do not have to be raised. I mean, as I mentioned, they were raised considerably last year if you chose not to raise them this year.
then maybe.
And Jeff, you said round it to the nearest $5 or just the nearest dollar?
Well, on the big things, when we were charging $882, I don't care. I mean, obviously, we don't want to make it $446.25.
No, correct.
But yeah, whatever, it's 446 or 445, doesn't
Okay.
matter, whatever the marketing number looks like.
Okay.
I don't know, and some of them, if we raised it a lot last year and we want to keep it to even dollars, I don't know if we want to jump it up a dollar, something from, jump things up a lot.
Mary, you mentioned that there was a shortage of quarters a lot in the past.
Well,
mean,
when
that-
we have to keep giving change, like somebody comes in with $2, well, you have to give them 3 quarters back. You go through a whole lot of quarters
Okay,
when you're working at the desk.
so it's not because we set the prices at an odd amount where it would require, a lot of change being exchanged, right? It was
Well, there
just,
was an odd amount a few years back. There was a quarter.
Hmm.
It was like $8.25 or whatever, which did,
Mhm.
that's how we're aware of the problem.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say if it were, $9.50, or even, I don't know about 10, but $9.50, you still have the problem with the quarters, but it just, maybe 10 is a big jump. I don't know if there's really a good answer there.
I think we'd maybe keep it to the, not go to the 55-cent level, keep it at
Right.
quarter increments, but yeah, I think 10, it would be a huge jump.
Mhm.
Well,
Again,
why don't we just, I mean, if it's over 100, then just roll it up to the nearest 5 or 10. If it's under that, like the daily rates, just leave those as is. So we don't have to deal with the 918 and rolling it up to 10. Just leave them where they're at.
Especially because those aren't going to be subject typically to the 2% credit card, fees like the other rates are and stuff too.
And then if they're under 100, like I'm looking at the 6 visit punch, it was 47, now it's 47.94, just make it an even 48. Because it was already a weird number, 47, now it's 48, it's just
Right.
another dollar.
Well, I
Just another
guess
weird number.
we first need to figure out how much we should be increasing them.
Yeah,
Well, I think overall, I think the 5%'s a good idea on the, like the over $100 amounts. I'd rather, sort of take a hit, and we didn't raise much last year, and instead of raising it every single year. But like our public participants, we don't know if it's a go this year. But we do have to be prepared.
Mhm. So, where are we?
do we want to just, do we want to just run through each section real quick? So starting with camp, if it's 5%, does everyone agree on 5% and rolling it up? So.
That's helpful, Kim. Thank you.
Yeah, so for
Yeah, I
camp,
think 5.
okay, so everyone's agreeing on 5, and then we're gonna roll it up. So for strawberry, if it's 418, we'd roll it up to 420. For banana, it's
Well, wait,
8.6.
well, I thought it could be 430.50.
Right, 5% would be 430.50. It's
Oops, I'm
over
looking at the
to-
wrong column.
all the way to the right.
Okay,
So we roll those numbers to 430 and 880 and
yeah,
45 kind of things.
yeah.
Okay.
What is BCC, ACC?
So- Are we rounding up or down on the 5% for camp?
Closest?
Well,
Jeff,
we-
BCC and ACC is before camp care and after camp care.
Ah, okay.
And that is actually comparable to what Latchkey would be. Right now, Latchkey's 8 and 13.
Well, I'd leave them at 8 and 13 then. If you want to stay comparable.
Or you could, or you can't, I mean, it's okay for, we're not exchanging coins on this one, so it can go up like to say if it's 840, you could make it 840 if you wanted to, or 1365, make it 1350, or leave it 1365. That can be whatever you want to do.
Well, I do 850 and 1350. Even still.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 446, are you going to leave that at 446? Or
Well, before well, some things were, to the 5 and others weren't, so. Whatever you like.
okay,
I mean, it's $1. 445 sounds like a better number than 446 or anyone else? Mia, what do you think? Yeah, whatever you like. But I think we're all are we all in the 5% range?
okay,
Yes.
Yeah, 5% with appropriate rounding.
okay.
Yeah, I think then, yeah, you can handle it, Mary, if
I
that's
can do that. Yep.
consensus.
Okay.
Okay. Next one, board nominations for November election. What does that mean?
Oh, wait, so we're all done with this? You all want 5?
So, yeah, 5%.
We need a motion on this too. And
Okay.
then the daily rates unchanged for the admission. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay,
So I move that we increase by 5% across the board, except for the small little daily rate ones that are single dollar stuff, and we'll leave that at the current rate.
okay.
And you can,
Second.
Mary can massage the rounding, whatever.
Yes. And yeah, we're down
Okay.
around the nearest dollar.
Kim made a motion, Frank seconds it. Anyone opposed? All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
What was that, Joe? You were good? Yes or no?
Yeah, that was my
Okay,
eye.
good. Okay, board nominations for November election. What is
Okay.
November election?
Well, we have to get our slate
President.
of officers. So
Oh,
we
that-
can, November, we vote.
Oh, for our 2021 office.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
So I just thought this was a good opportunity for either anyone to nominate or to throw your own name in the hat, or however you want it, so we can present the ballot at the November meeting.
Okay,
So,
Can I nominate somebody?
sure.
Woohoo! I nominate Frank for chair.
Thanks,
okay,
Kim.
okay, is he gonna have, I mean, we can have more than one also if you want to, if we have a vote off or whatever.
Yeah, then we have to get yard signs and do all that.
Would either Mia or
Wrestle for
Alexa
it.
want to be secretary? It's a great resume building for college.
Is
I
it just for this board?
Yeah, it's just for the board. I've done it and Jessica's done it and we'd be happy to
I
help
don't
you.
mind doing it. Yeah, same.
You guys can even trade off. Can they do that, Mary?
Co-secretaries?
I don't think so.
Well, no, in
No?
someone's absence, they could,
Okay,
somebody could fill in to take it, but we'd have one person stated.
okay.
And we need a vice chair.
I'll volunteer. Can
Kim,
I nominate
I'll
myself?
nominate Kim, sure.
That sounds
Sure.
horrible. I'm nominating
Sure.
myself.
Sure.
I nominate Kim.
I'm just counting, yeah, thanks, Frank. I'm just counting on Frank to be there all the time, so I don't have to do anything.
Pass it back.
Any other additions that want to be included on the ballot?
Oh, Jessica, did you want to do anything? I didn't mean to jump in.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good then.
Okay, so we'll present
Oh.
that in November.
What about Joe? I just want to make sure everyone has an opportunity because I've been vice before, so it's no big deal. I'll do whatever.
No,
Okay, sorry, guys, Claire has a,
Claire is supposed to
Message
listen.
is
Claire-
no one leaving the committee? Question mark, no new people expected.
No term is up for any of the current members. And I believe they may there may be some people interested, and I believe they'll be interviewed for the available seat. I think it's in December.
December, yeah.
Okay, so they'll be interviewing anyone interested for the vacant seat. I guess
Okay.
that answers it.
Department update, baseball field upgrade.
Okay, yes, I mentioned at the last meeting that I would check into costs because we are all in agreement that the fields at Burton are in bad disrepair. So I did get some cost from one company. He came out and measured it and did whatever. And he said, basically, the cost per field, if he just took off, I mean, he would laser level it. I'll read all the different things, so because it might mean something to all of you, so you'd better understand it. They'd sod cut and remove the lip buildup around the back arc of the infield, remove all the weeds, vegetation on the surface right now, edge sod along the dugout fences to create a buffer to help prevent material from washing into the dugout. They'll remove 6 inches of the current infield material to remove the stones, install 6 inches of ball mix, laser grade and create a slope, compact the field. They'll determine the location for home plate, pitcher's mound, base anchors, provide all of the above. The cost per field for that is $18,500
Each.
per, yes. Now, if they only went 3 inches down, which wouldn't guarantee the stones wouldn't come back, but that cost would be $9,850 each.
What does it guarantee that they're
9,850?
placing at 6?
Well, he seems to think that there'd be a guarantee that stones aren't going to come off when you take it down 6 inches and put a new 6 inches in.
So that would be a very enduring repair. It would last
Yeah.
a long time.
Correct. And
Did
then
I-
we discussed reducing the infield size to make it more user-friendly for the smaller kids who do use a baseball field. That would be an additional cost of $7,850 per field. So if the cost then, say we went with the 3 inches and reducing the field, putting more sod in to bring the infield, create a smaller one, would be $17,700 per field. And that's doing the 3 inches of the ball mix, or the 6 inches would be $26,350 per field, with making the reducing the infield. So those are the costs from that one company that I did talk to. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about out there.
Hey, Mary, what about the dugout benches? They're popping up and
Right, well, that would be something, another
Different.
expense, yeah.
that's another.
Another expense, yeah. I just went with the ball field itself, what we
Oh,
can do
I
with the ball field. So this gives you an idea of what it's gonna take, plus some, and plus even to do some more drainage behind, they could do, French drains behind, behind the backstop. And so that's kind of a starting point for what the cost will be.
Mary, does that include the area where you come in off of Nadine and it's right where the track meets the outfield? It's like a lake when it
Right,
rains. More.
no,
Is that-
we'll have to work on drainage for that. That's still a separate.
That's different? Okay.
Yep, this is just kind of addressing the ball field itself.
Gotcha.
So it gives us an idea of what we're talking about, and then maybe to start thinking about how we can approach different groups for funding on this in the future going ahead.
Okay, this is a city commission thing though, to decide.
Well, eventually, money, yeah, well, I mean, we can certainly say that this is something we want to work towards, but putting money in the budget is certainly another thing. Or working with the school district is also, we talked with Todd Spurl, remember at the last meeting, he was talking about soccer fields, but also potentially doing something to the baseball. So he has a meeting set up with Larry Gallagher at the school district. So he'll be talking about this included in the project they're speaking of too.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, there might be some outside companies that might be interested in helping us out. Some residents might have contacts. So that gives us an idea of the cost involved.
One question I have, and I think maybe Joe can clarify this for me, because I know you mentioned before the idea of bringing in the infields on those fields to make them more, age appropriate. Does that in turn open up some of that non-specified green space that Todd was talking about as far as them getting behind financial support and stuff?
I think it would. I mean, I really do,
Yeah.
because right now they leverage it for, for the little kids when they play their games and practices. You size down the fields. That opens up, I mean, not a huge amount of space, but enough where.
Again, for small kids, that would be a practice space that you could concurrent to a ball game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for soccer, correct? Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Because that would, he seemed pretty enthusiastic, and he seemed like he had, people in checkbooks that were lined up pretty interested in doing this stuff. So that's a good thing.
Mhm. So that's
Good.
Also, another department update, just an FYI, the city is resubmitting an application to the men's club for the Reynolds Park fitness space. So that will be going to the men's club for consideration for the auction, the 21 auction.
Okay, good.
Okay, can I give a shout out to everything going on at the rec now?
Sure.
This is department flu shot clinic. The last one's tomorrow. There are still a few spots if anybody wants to get a flu shot. It's very user friendly, fast, and you just need to bring your not your credit card. You need to bring your insurance card and license. We've had a lot of fun activities. Tracy's been involved in a whole lot. I should let her speak on what she's done with the teens in the community. Tracy, why don't you blow your own horn here?
Sure, thanks. Well, with the teens, we had a picture clue hunt around the rec center outside. Alexa was there, part of it, and helped out. And it was great. We had 25 teens participate. And then we had a little pizza party. And it was great. Everybody wore their masks, social distanced, had a blast, had some, pizza. So it was great that 25 teens got involved with this. You could tell they are just looking for some fun things to do. So we had that coming up. We actually, our t-shirts this year are white because the teens finally talked me into letting them do tie-dye shirts for the teen council shirts, Alexa. So, we are going to yeah, they are really cool. Alexa designed them. They're awesome. They're actually in now. So we're just going to pick a date to do an outdoor tie-dye, social distancing, whatever for the teens. We have a teen bingo program coming up in two or 3 weeks. I can't remember. And they're all excited. We're still doing our meetings every other week. And we had 25 kids 24 at our meeting, our most recent meeting. So people are still getting involved, even though we're doing everything through Zoom. And then we did the pumpkin carving. Jeff was there for that. Sunday, like I said, we started with 90 people, went to 70. The day of had 60 and 20 people showed up. So again, just a sign of the times, but we had a great time. And I know one parent that was there, she goes, this was way better than trying to do this in my house. So they all came and brought their pumpkins and carved and everything. So that was great. Yeah. So those are a few of the things that are kind of going on right now.
Tracy's also been in charge of the classes in Bridget's absence. So she's been the go-to person for volleyball net setup and Tai Chi changes and soccer for little kids and lacrosse. So she's been doing double duty and she did a great job.
If anybody needs a volleyball net set up, call me. I know how to do it now. Real easy. So.
Oh, and Hay Day was great.
Oh yeah, we did Hay Day too, which was our first real big event we did with, COVID-19 protocols in place. And it was amazing to see everybody who participated stay in their family pods, wear their masks. We had the petting farm, horse rides, and it was a little nerve-wracking to try to plan an event that normally people could just come to. This, they had to pre-register. We had to put them in family groups. They had to wear bracelets. We had to have extra hand sanitizer, signage up. It was a lot of extra little things we had to do, but we were thrilled with the outcome. And we had a total of 200 people, so 100 for each time slot, because you could have 100 people at that time. at an event. So yeah, it went really well. And, you know, the Parks and Rec staff, we worked together really well as a team. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
I was there with my kids and it was great.
Good. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, we had a good time. Yeah. It
I
was
would
such a
recommend,
nice
I would
day,
recommend
too.
napkins at the s'more station though next year, okay?
Oh.
I'm writing that down right now because I just finished my report on the event. We actually usually would have those wet naps, you know, like the little things you get at Chicken Shack or whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it wasn't on my radar to get those this year. Everything else kind of took over, but that's going back in my notes, Jessica. Thank you.
And we've also had a lot of success with the Friday food trucks in the parking lot. Those have been really popular. And just a point of interest, we've had, well, pickleball's been crazy, even with the cold weather. The pickleball players are out there in force. And we are going to be keeping one of the nets up on 11 Mile on the tennis court, where there's also a pickleball court painted on that court. That's going to stay up all winter long. The smaller court is going to be taken down because that was not meant to be a snow piece of equipment. So that will need to come in because the net would not withstand the snow nor the stand, because that is a portable stand that's up there. So we're going to leave one up there, and we're going to leave 2 tennis court nets up down at the rec center throughout the winter. So if we have a mild winter, people will come out and play. And we have a lot of fun activities coming up, and these guys have busted it out and have learned so many new skills, and I'm so proud of the staff. It's just amazing what they've done with a whole new skill set. It's just, I can't say enough about everything they've done for the community, and I know the community appreciates it. So, and a shout out to Jeff also, yeah, great write-up. I was on Facebook, was it?
Oh,
About
right.
everything that Jeff has done and his contributions to the community. So if you haven't seen it, you should, because every single word is so true. And you've done it all, Jeff. We really appreciate it. We really
Very
appreciate
nice
it.
write-up.
Yeah, it really was. So
Where's that at? Is that
it
on
was on Facebook.
Facebook?
Colette posted it, was on
Rec Center Facebook.
Rec Center.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the Parks and Rec Facebook, and then other people have since added on comments about Jeff and
Yeah, a
how
lot you
amazing
may not have
he
known
is.
about Jeff. He's not just a pretty face.
Yeah, she did miss one thing though.
Oh, what?
Well, she said that Uncle Sam that I've been doing for almost 20 years,
Yeah.
not 20 years.
How
That's
long?
more.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, we're gonna have to change that.
Uh-oh, we'll
How
have a
many
correction.
years, Jeff?
I don't know exactly, but I'd say it's almost 40
Wow.
because I remember
Wow.
taking Amy in a wagon,
Wow.
and Amy's 42, so
Okay, there you go.
long time.
Okay. Wow, well,
Most
Thank
of
you.
them not with, virtual. So hopefully next year will be live too.
yeah, let's hope. So that's all I have.
I have a question. So going back to sort of the Val Jones conversation and the sense that people have that like Huntington Woods residents don't use it. I don't know if it's something like if Parks and Rec would ever in the nicer weather like run like a skateboard clinic or bring maybe like that resident who Kim met that's like a super spectacular skateboarder to maybe run like classes or clinics over at Val Jones to get more residents interested in skateboarding and using the facility.
Right, that's interesting because Colette did host like a competition over there, I think a couple years ago. Last year, maybe no, a year
A
before.
couple years ago.
A couple years ago, and I think oddly enough, there weren't any residents, very few, maybe 1 or 2 that came, who's mostly non-residents. And we have done skateboard clinics there in the past. It certainly is something we can bring back. We haven't done it in a while. We could
I've definitely done those because
time to
my
try.
son went. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time
We
to
did.
try that.
I actually think, I don't know, Kim, too, if your son was part of, we used to run a skateboard camp there.
That's what he
With the gentleman that owns Oakland Yard Athletics.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go 1 year, and then the gentleman just had too much going on in his own facility, so we kind of lost out. But I'd be happy to look
Yeah.
into doing
Yeah.
other, and actually that was mostly Huntington Woods residents that came to that. It was the kids, because it's some cool teenagers teaching them how to skateboard and use those what are those things with the handlebars, the
Razor
scooters or
scooters.
whatever and that kind of thing. And so it was it was a really cool camp. So I could look
Yeah.
into doing that, bringing that back too.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Fun fact,
Yeah.
Tony Hawk has been to our skate park.
That's
Oh,
so
really?
cool. That's so
Now,
cool.
how do you- were you
I
there?
love that.
I didn't see him, but I heard about it back when it happened, and then I've been recently when I was up there, I was talking to some kids who actually met him, and they were
Wow.
pretty psyched about it. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, he owns a house here in Detroit now too, I think,
yeah, he's a big proponent. of
down in
skate.
Midtown.
Yeah, he has a business downtown, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Claire's raising her hand.
Just a point of interest, when it was being built, and I don't know whether it's still true, I was talking to the person who designed it and was overlooking it. And I said, well, it's a very small area. I suppose it's, not all that good. And he said, actually, it is one of the best parks that he's ever put in spite of the fact that it's a small area. So
Wow.
this was a professional who, when the skate park was designed and put in, thought that we were really top notch. So
Wow.
Awesome.
we should be very proud of that park.
So Mary, I have a 4th of July idea. How I mentioned before, run, walk, dive, and boom. How about run, walk, dive, and skate, and then boom?
Triathlon.
There you go.
We got a plan of action for our next meeting. Anything?
If it gets any longer, it'll just be like verbs in the bergs, you know?
No, just a reminder, November 17th will be the meeting date.
Okay, any board member comments? Okay, then we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for participating and see you in a month.
Thanks for being a backup, Tracy.
Oh,
You're a
my
good bouncer.
pleasure. I learned a lot tonight. This was great.
You're a good
Last
bouncer.
bouncer.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I didn't have to bounce anybody.
No, we're a friendly group.
Yes, very good.
Okay, so what do I need to do on my end?
I can do the leave the
Yeah.
meeting and we're good.
And stop the recording? Guess she did.
There we go.
Well, she's really
done.
good.
Good night,
Okay.
all.
Well,
Good
good
night.
night. Thanks,
Good
guys.
night.
Fun.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right.
Bye, Mia.
Well, here I am.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how to leave too.
Oh, well, I know I can just go to end, but I don't know if she stopped the recording.
It's still
I know it still looks
still
like.
flashing.
I'll-
Oh, wait. There's a little stop video button. Do you see that? Oh, no, that's stop video. That's not stop
I've stopped the
recording.
recording. I just stopped recording. Stop recording. After stopping, you'll receive an email notification when the cloud recording is ready.